everybody loves Zagames.
Hi, I'm Haddad. I'm the head chef here at Reservoir Zagames. I've been with the company now for 11 years. Today I'm going to cook you a classical French dish called Coq Au Vin. We've simplified it for you guys at home, so hopefully you enjoy it. But Coq Au Vin translates to older bird cooked in red wine. Cooking it slowly in red wine will actually help tenderize the bird and actually get the meat to actually fall off the bone. It should be a nice treat for you guys at home. Today we're cooking Coq Au Vin. So what I've started off with is my Reservoir potatoes. All I've done is just season the water slowly with a little bit of salt. I've got my pot on here. It's a nice casserole pot, heavy based. To cook a nice casserole dish you actually need a heavy based pot, so it just helps with evening out the heat. So we're starting off with pancetta. The pancetta, it's a cured pork belly. It's an Italian cured pork belly which will give a lot of flavour to the dish. You just want to cut it roughly just to add it in. So we'll start off with a little bit of oil. Add your pork belly, pancetta, fry it up, get a nice colour, caramelisation. While that's going, all we're going to do is just the skin side is just give it a light season, just a little bit of salt, give it a little bit of a rub, just to dispense the salt evenly. Once your pancetta is slightly cooked, you're going to pull it out and put it aside. We will use it later. Just for now, I've got most of the flavours and that into the pot. At this point, if you see there's not enough oil, you can still add a little bit more. And start frying up the chicken. What you're doing now is just intensifying the flavours and caramelising the chicken and also sealing the meat. This will help with actually giving you a more rounder flavour towards the end. So this will take a few minutes to get a nice caramelisation happening. Alright, now we've got like a nice caramelisation on the chicken, so we're just going to flip it over and just seal it on the other side so we can get the same sort of colour. Once we've done that, we will take it out and put it along the side so we can move things along and actually create the sauce that the chicken's actually going to be cooked in. Okay, now I've taken the chicken out, it's resting on the side. We're actually going to start creating the sauce that we're actually putting it together. The onions and mushrooms like a little bit of oil to fry in. So we're starting with our shallots. These are shallots. You can probably get them from your grocer. I like to keep them whole. The shallots have a slightly sweeter flavour than onions once caramelised. So we're actually going to fry off our onions slightly. Shallots. Once the shallots start getting going, we're going to throw in our mushrooms and then our garlic. All we've done is minced it. So just quickly roughly chopped. If you've got a mincer or anything and you can mince it up finer, that's fine also. So as you can see, this is all flavour, so your pot might actually look dark, but it's just the flavour, it's just the caramelisation of different fats from the chicken and the pancetta at the moment. Will help adding flavour, so don't worry if the pot actually looks a little bit dark. Let our mushrooms. And at this point we want to cook them out, we want to cook them really well. Alright, I've added my garlic. I've used the butter mushrooms. You can use different mushrooms. You can use Swiss brown, field mushrooms, whatever. If the mushrooms are slightly big, you can cut them in half. As you can see, our mushrooms are small, so we've actually just kept them whole. And by doing that, mushrooms will release a lot of liquid and actually shrink. After that, now we're going to add our butter, which is just in there. We're going to try to get that butter going, actually melting down. With that, we're going to throw in our flour. We really want to cook out the flour so there isn't a raw taste, as it will be unpleasant. So as you can see, all that flavour from the bottom of the pot is now starting to come off. Our butter is melting. Our flour is cooking down. The flour is used as a thickening agent, and butter will actually give it a nice richness. Once this is done, we're going to add our tomato paste. Oops, I think it was just a little bit too much. Once we're at this stage, we're going to just slightly deglaze with some red wine vinegar. Just give it a bit of a stir. Red wine vinegar will give it a slight sweetness, but also a little bit of the tartness. At this stage now, we're going to add all our liquid. So all the red wine. Now we're just going to add our chicken stock into the actual dish. We're going to add back our pancetta that we cooked earlier. Now we're going to add all our aromatics, so our bay leaf and our thyme. And we'll add our chicken. At this point in time, you want to increase the heat just to actually slightly get a bit of a boil happening. When it comes to the boil, we're going to turn it down and simmer it. So what we're going to do is actually just to try to bring it up to the boil as fast as we can. We're just going to cover it for a little bit. Now it's been about 45 minutes. As you can see, all the flavours have been binded together and it's reduced down slightly, and the chicken's actually been cooked. So we'll just leave the lid off. At this point, we'll just chop up our parsley. The parsley's been picked and washed. Now you don't have to be too pedantic with the parsley. It's a rustic dish, so I'm just going to give it a nice rough chop. Now what we'll do is we'll actually take out our chicken. And as you can see, the chicken's actually cooked where it actually just falls apart really easily without any trouble at all. So at this point now, we'll take out the rest of our pieces. As that's happening, we'll add our parsley to to the dish. We'll give it a quick stir. Give it a little bit of a taste. As we use the pancetta, and we talked about seasoning earlier, the only thing you might need is just a little bit of black pepper. Okay, so now we're getting our potato. We're just going to give it a rough smash. As you can see, it's nice and delicate. We do this so the sauce can actually be absorbed by the potato. We'll get our chicken. Just have it on top there. Now we'll get some of our sauce. And the shallots, as they're nice and whole, just pour it over the top. Then our pieces of thyme for garnish. Make sure the plate's clean. And that's our Coq Au Vin. Hope you enjoy.
Everybody loves Zagame.